From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.
Good day. This is Dateline Malacañang. Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Sunday arrived at Melbourne Airport as he is set to participate in the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Australia Special Summit in Melbourne from the 4th to the 6th of March. This is the second time that Australia is hosting the ASEAN member states and Timor-Leste as it marks the 50th anniversary of its partnership with the regional bloc since becoming its first dialogue partner in 1974. The Philippine president also visited the country upon the invitation of Australian Prime Minister Anthony Albanese. President Marcos Jr.'s participation to the summit presents an opportunity for the Philippines to convey its core positions on regional and international issues, as well as reaffirm the country's deepening relations with its neighbors in Southeast Asia and Australia. The chief executive will also be participating in activities such as the Leaders' Plenary and Retreat, wherein President Marcos will highlight the ASEAN-Australia cooperation on maritime issues, climate and clean energy track, people-to-people exchange, and economic cooperation. President Marcos will also meet with the Filipino community in Melbourne.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. on Monday met with the Australian business community for the Philippine Business Forum in Melbourne, Australia. The Philippine Business Forum serves as an opportunity to showcase the strength of the Philippine economy to potential Australian investors, as well as encourage two-way trade and investments between Australia and the Philippines. It will also provide the Philippine business delegation with a chance to establish new contacts and facilitate partnerships in the Australian market. The event was organized by the Department of Trade and Industry, or DTI, in partnership with the Australia-Philippine Business Council, or APBC, the Philippines-Australia Business Council, or PABC, and the Australia-New Zealand Business Chamber, or ANZCHAM. Let's listen to the speech of Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Australia holds a special place as the Philippines' newest strategic partner in the Indo-Pacific region. Through this visit, we are sending a clear message that the Philippines is enhancing our regional economic integration agenda on several aspects. I have always had myself a personal fondness for this city, so it is a great opportunity to come back and visit, to be here at this forum with all of you. I am honored to stand before such a distinguished audience today. Your presence in this gathering speaks volumes about the importance of fostering robust business partnerships and collaborations between our nations. It not only underscores the significance of this forum, but also emphasizes the vitality of our economic and commercial ties. As such, I thank the business organizations who have been tirelessly working in fostering meaningful connections and facilitating practical and tangible business opportunities, providing insights, information exchange, and strategic engagements. Let me also extend my appreciation to the companies that are already partnering with us and making it happen in the Philippines, for your plans and significant investments that directly contribute to our economic development. Some of you have shared your plans and commitment to the Philippines, and I'm grateful for your continued trust, confidence, and interest in our country. This assembly serves as a celebration of the robustness and resilience of the Philippine economy. We take pride in being an ideal destination for complementation in both manufacturing and services. Recent global challenges, especially those that were initially highlighted by the pandemic, have underscored the dangers of sole sourcing and concentrating that supply on a single country or a single source. The urgent need to diversify production locations and explore alternative materials to de-risk and minimize disruptions in supply chains has become self-evident. Moreover, the transition to a low-carbon or net zero scenario has further propelled the de-risking trend. So for the Philippines, these global developments present an opportunity to enhance our participation in regional and global value chains. As part of our development strategy, we are keen to explore new avenues of cooperation and foster mutually beneficial partnerships that are commercially meaningful, but also have a social effect. I invite esteemed Australian businesses to consider the Philippines as a reliable partner that can support your expansion and operations. Let us embark on a journey of strengthened economic ties, mutual growth, and shared successes. We remain steadfast in our commitment to purposeful reforms evident in key legislative amendments. And it is why we always ask members of the leadership of the legislature to join us, because many of the plans that we have and many of the initiatives that we are proposing and endorsing require new legislation. It is a new world, it is a new economy, it is a new global economy to which we need to adjust not only our business sector, not only our private sector, not only our finance sector, but also our legislative sector to change, to make the very important structural changes that are necessary for us to adjust to the new global post-pandemic economy. For example, the amendments to the Public Service Act, the Foreign Investments Act, the Real Trade Liberalization Act, and Renewable Energy Act, they all mark a new era for strategic investments, coupled with streamlined businesses, infrastructure development, and the Comprehensive Tax Reform Program, or the CREATE Act. These reforms position the Philippines as one of the fastest growing economies in Asia. In fact, we are in the process of improving the reforms under the CREATE Act, and we have used as a guide the inputs that we have received from potential and present investors in the Philippines in terms of the ease of doing business, in terms of modifying the tax structure, in terms of making it a more attractive investment destination. Our overhaul of fiscal incentive structures and responsive policies, including those facilitating public-private partnerships, or PPPs, play a pivotal role in promoting private sector participation. Furthermore, there is the establishment of the Maharlika Investment Fund, our sovereign wealth fund. And that underscores our dedication to financing priority projects and driving socio-economic impact. The key principle that we have adopted, the very fundamental principle that we have adopted, was to consider the private sector as partners in the development of the transformation and development of our economy. It is very early on, we quickly recognize that government can do very much, but we must also realize that government cannot do it alone. And the private sector does many things that government does not do. And there are certain things that government does that private sector actually would be better at doing than leaving it with the government. And so these partnerships have become very important, are central to any transformation, any success that we may enjoy in the near future. This is the view of our strategic financial planners, our economic group, and altogether we have all come to that conclusion, and it is something that we continue to promote and to continue to encourage. So we prioritize the ease of doing business, exemplified by efforts to simplify tax payments, streamline regulations, and showcase our unwavering support for businesses, which I signed Executive Order number 18, which establishes green lanes for strategic investments, simplifying procedures and reducing bureaucratic hurdles. Simply speaking, these green lanes are, as we are slowly transforming the way we do business, both in the bureaucracy, both in government, and of course in the general economy, so we are awaiting the legislation to come through, as these have to be very examined in very close detail. We have established these green lanes, and the general idea is that for any investor who comes to the Philippines, that they will no longer have to wing it, as it were, and try to go through the documentation process and learn as they go along. They will be taken in hand by a specific person and a specific group in each department, the relevant department, and that group will attend to all the needs of a prospective investor, so as to be able to put up a company, to start a bank account, to get the permitting down, to get the clearances, etc. And this we do so as to make more rapid the entry of foreign direct investment, but also to make businesses more profitable, because the costs that are implied by inefficiencies are lessened at the very least. So I am pleased to announce the enactment of 3 priority bills. The Public-Private Partnership Code of the Philippines, which paves the way for transformative partnerships and fosters infrastructure development. Number 2, the Internet Transactions Act, which provides the framework for a robust digital economy, aligning the country's policy with the demands of the 21st century. And finally, the Tatak Pinoy Act, or the Proudly Filipino Act, which I recently signed into law just last 26 February, which will support industry development and enable greater participation of the Philippines in global value chains. So we continue to accelerate and deepen policy reforms to improve the environment where businesses such as yours will continue to thrive. On renewable energy, a very important part of our strategic planning, we accord great importance to addressing climate change and achieving energy transition, as we in the Philippines are highly vulnerable to the climate crisis. In line with this, we have put in place several energy transition policies, investment enablers such as incentivizing energy efficiency and conservation that will support and facilitate the efforts to decarbonize the economy. This move strengthens our dedication to environmental stewardship and encourages the private sector to actively engage in sustainable practices. I recognize that Australia also places equal importance in this area, as it is a priority under the elevation of our strategic partnership. In this regard, I welcome the opportunity for greater cooperation on climate change and energy transition. I am glad to see that we have made a good start here today with the agreements that we have come to between our private sector partners. Aligned with our efforts on decarbonization, we are positioning ourselves as a regional hub for smart and sustainable manufacturing. To achieve this, we are at the forefront of attracting sustainability-driven strategic investments powered by renewable energy. We also recognize that there are complementarities to be explored in critical minerals And we are open to having a dedicated dialogue with your companies about sustainable processing of green materials. This will be further supported by our strong adherence to high labor and environmental standards. We have our trade and investment policy tools in place through the ASEAN-Australia-New Zealand Free Trade Agreement and the Regional Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement to enable our regional economic integration agenda. I am hopeful that this will be complemented by other policy tools that will enhance Philippines-Australia supply chain partnerships and facilitate greater foreign direct investments. So in conclusion, let me reiterate our gratitude for your presence and active engagement in this forum. The members of my economic team will provide the support needed by your businesses for investments to continuously grow and prosper. Together with you as our strategic partner, we can make investments happen in the Philippines. I am confident that the relationships forged here today will contribute significantly to the economic vibrancy of both our nations.
Philippine President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Department of National Defense or DND Secretary Gilbert Chodoro on Sunday led the launch of the three-day air show of the Philippine Air Force or PAF and Republic of Korea Air Force or ROKAF at the Clark Air Base in Mabalacat, Pampanga Province. The event is part of the 7th anniversary of the establishment of the diplomatic relations between the Philippines and Korea. The activity started with a friendship flight with 4 PAF FA-50PH jets and 8 T-50B aircraft of the ROK Black Eagles aerial acrobatic team. In his message, Secretary Chodoro said, the activities show the true close diplomatic relations between both countries. For the ROKAF Commander of Air Defense and Control Command, Major General Park Chang-kyu thanked the Philippines for 7 decades of trust and cooperation between the two nations. Also present during the activities were Korean Ambassador to the Philippines, His Excellency Lee Sang-hwa, Acting Chief of Staff of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, and PAF Lieutenant General Arthur Cordura, PAF Commanding General Lieutenant General Stephen Pareño, and PAF Vice Commander Major General Augustine Malinit.
Dateline Malacañang.
Philippine Albay 2nd District Representative Joey Salceda over the weekend said that China has no place in Benham rice. Salceda made the statement following reports from the Philippine Navy that 2 Chinese vessels had lingered in Benham rice, officially known as the Philippine rice. The lawmaker said that the West Philippine Sea, or WPS, might be a condominium among the country's neighbors, but China has absolutely no place in the Benham rice, which is exclusively a territory of the Philippines. The House Committee on Ways and Means chairman added that they are intruders, pure and simple. Benham rice is located east of Luzon. The Philippines had claimed Benham as part of its continental shelf in a claim filed with the United Nations Commission on the Limits of the Continental Shelf on April 8, 2009. This was approved under the United Nations Convention on the Law of the Sea, or UNCLOS, in 2012. Salceda further said that Department of National Defense or DND Secretary Gilbert Chodoro was taking the correct approach of boosting the country's technological capabilities in both aerial and maritime patrolling and defense. The Albay legislator said that he is working with House National Defense Committee Chairman Boboy Tupas to make it easier to finance and acquire advanced weapons and military hardware. Salceda noted that the House has already passed its version and they are merely waiting for a BICAM with the Senate.
Dateline Malacañang.
A group of fishermen met with the House leadership in Aborlan, Palawan Province to complain that their livelihood is affected by the tensions within the West Philippine Sea or WPS. Leaders of over 600 fisherfolks of Aborlan went to the extension office of the ACT-CIS in Palawan and asked for help and to have their problem reach the House leadership. By chance, House Speaker Martin Romualdez was in the province, and House Deputy Majority Leader Erwin Tulfo, along with ACT-CIS party list Representative Edvic Yap, took advantage and approached the Speaker with regards to the problem of the fisherfolks. According to Tulfo, even though there's no schedule and program, the House Speaker met with the leaders and listened to their complaints. In their meeting, Speaker Romualdez, who currently serves as the legislative caretaker of the 3rd District of Palawan, promised to speed up the process on scholarship grants to over 1,000 children of the fishermen, provision of an ice plant and gasoline station in Aborlan. The House Speaker also ordered the immediate delivery of alternative livelihood for fisherfolks like food processing facilities.
Dateline Malacañang.
And finally, the Philippines Department of Migrant Workers or DMW, in partnership with the Land Bank of the Philippines and the Overseas Filipino Bank or OF Bank, took a significant step in supporting displaced overseas Filipino workers or OFWs whose Saudi Arabian companies went bankrupt and lost their jobs during the financial crisis of 2015 to 2016. A Memorandum of Agreement or MOA has been signed to expedite the processing of checks issued by the Saudi government to cover unpaid wages, benefits, and other claims. DMW Officer in Charge, Undersecretary Hans Leo Magpayo, Land Bank President and Chief Executive Officer or CEO, Ms. Lynette Ortiz, and OF Bank Officer in Charge, Attorney Reo Andarino, signed the MOA during a simple signing ceremony held at the DMW's head office in Mandaluyong City. Key provisions of the agreement include the collaboration between the DMW, Land Bank, and OF Bank aims to minimize the bureaucratic hurdles and expedite the release of funds to verified Saudi OFW claimants. Under the arrangement, claimants are encouraged to open accounts in either Land Bank or OF Bank, which shall serve as the financial conduits for processing their checks and receiving their money. Heirs and survivors of deceased OFW claimants, the MOA specifically addresses the needs of their heirs of OFWs who have already passed away. The DMW, among others, will assist in identifying the heirs of deceased Saudi OFW claimants, endorse their claim checks, and guarantee the payment and release of the amounts involved. Land Bank and OF Bank, meanwhile, shall provide the necessary banking services and solutions to facilitate the servicing of the OFW claimants, and financial education, literacy, and services facilitation. The three agencies shall collaborate to provide OFW clients with the necessary information and processing their respective claims, as well as upgrade their financial knowledge to manage and nurture their long overdue, hard-earned financial resources. The signing of the DMW Land Bank OF Bank MOA marks a significant milestone and development toward resolving the issue of unpaid wages, claims, and other benefits due to thousands of displaced OFWs. In November last year, the Alinma Bank of Saudi Arabia started its distribution of checks to displaced Saudi OFWs with amounts representing the total value of their claims. The payout of these claims to thousands of Saudi OFWs is a direct result of the promise made by Saudi Crown Prince Mohammed bin Salman to President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during their meeting on the sidelines of the Association of Southeast Asian Nations or ASEAN Leaders Summit in Bangkok, Thailand in November of 2023. The Saudi Arabian Crown Prince informed President Marcos that the Saudi government was setting aside a fund worth 2 billion Saudi riyals or approximately 30 billion pesos to cover the unpaid wages, benefits, and other claims of thousands of migrant workers, including over 10,000 OFWs affected by the financial crisis that gripped the kingdom in 2015 and 2016.
Dateline Malacañang.
Before we conclude our program, we would like to invite everyone to come and visit our Facebook page at Radyo Pilipinas World Service. You will be able to hear and view our Filipino and English programs, including news updates here in the Philippines. Kindly subscribe, like, and share our posts as well. And that concludes this edition of Dateline Malacañang. For Radyo Pilipinas World Service, this is Leo Magpayo. Good day and stay safe.
From the Presidential Palace, Manila, Dateline Malacañang.